Having high self-worth is a superpower. People who have high self-worth will be rescued from so many horrible situations. Even if they end up in toxic or dysfunctional relationships or friendships, at some point, their sense of self-worth will kick in. That high self-worth will kick in. And they remind themselves that they have worth, they have value, they deserve better, and they don't need to tolerate disrespect, and they will walk. That is why having high self worth is so important. You may have seen someone who might have been in a toxic relationship for a while and they seem to tolerate certain things, but suddenly one day they just get up and they walk away, no backward glance. And you wonder to yourself, what happened? How did they suddenly change? The thing is, their high self worth eventually kicked in. And that is what happens when you have high self worth. That even if you end up in toxic or dysfunctional relationships, you will eventually walk away. On the other hand, people with low self worth struggle to walk away because they convince themselves, I don't have value, I'm not worthy, this is the best I can get, no one else will want me, and so on and so forth. And when you say that to yourself and you start to believe that narrative, it's very difficult for you to walk away from, from a difficult situation, even if it's not making you happy or it's not serving you. And people sometimes wonder, someone has high self worth. How did they end up in that toxic relationship or with that toxic friend in the first place? The thing about relationships, friendships, is that they're different. You can have general high self worth, but still struggle in relationships and friendships. Why? Relationships activate a deeper pattern. Our deepest patterns are activated when we enter relationships. Our deepest traumas, our deepest fears, they all come to the fore. For example, if you have attachment issues or a fear of abandonment, if you are afraid of being alone, if you have trauma bonds, there's so many things that can show up in relationships that will not show up in your normal everyday life. But the good news is that if you have high self worth, you will eventually come to your senses. You eventually, at some point, go, I don't need to tolerate this. I deserve better. And you walk away. And that is why it is so important that you work on your self worth. If you know that this is something you struggle with, start doing the work of improving how you see yourself so you don't end up in toxic or dysfunctional relationships.